For this hour, joining me is Deputy Public Defender for Los Angeles County, Philip Dube, and you're out there in Los Angeles County, so maybe you can clarify some of this stuff for us. But first and foremost, you know what? I haven't agreed with everything that John Lewin has done or said. His style is a bit abrasive, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll tell you what, I agreed with most of his arguments at that hearing. I'd love to get your thoughts.
Michael, he's a very brilliant guy. There's no question. There is an ongoing tension between the administration of justice in criminal trials and a defendant's rights during the trial. And the general rule is that any criminal defendant has the right to physical and mental presence. He is physically present and he is mentally present. He understands the nature of the proceedings. He is able, albeit feebly, to cooperate and aid in his own defense with his counsel, and quite rationally. Yes, he is a very frail, fragile man, but he is not in need of acute care. And under the case law in California, absent a lapse of consciousness or semi-consciousness or, collapsing, the trial goes on.
So Philip, I was going to ask you next. I said, how do you think the judge is going to deal with this? Now, he really hasn't had an ear for any of their motions. They've been making, as John Lewin said, they've been making these motions since the very beginning. They do not want this trial to finish. So it's clear that you think the judge is not going to grant this motion.
I'll bet you a virtual lunch that this motion gets denied. Okay. Well, first of all, Dr. Klein, a very intelligent, very pedigreed veteran doctor, is not a forensic psychiatrist or psychologist. In other words, he is there to look at the medical and clinical needs and doesn't understand the legal standard surrounding physical and mental presence in a court of law. Had Mr. Durst been suing, let's say, for, medical malpractice, he's going after various charlatans who didn't treat him properly, then yes, he might be the right expert to put on the stand and render an expert opinion. But in a criminal trial, he just does not have that forensic background to say that he lacks cognitive impairment or that he has cognitive impairment.
That's not the only problem with that doctor. I want to play a quick soundbite here of the cross-examination of Dr. Klein, and they brought up some points that I think probably scored some points with the judge. Let's take a listen.
Sure.
How much have you billed, doctor?